How I recreated this shot. Today my mic decided it didn't actually want to work, so you'll be hearing me from a voiceover instead. Here you can see that the camera is already set up in similar framing as to what the still is. Now before we begin, I want to point out that my location is not that similar to the location of the still, so what's important here is the characteristics of the still is what I'm recreating. Here I'm talking about how the sun looks like it's doing a lot of work when in reality it actually isn't doing that much. Here I'm talking about how in order to make this work, I need light that's coming in through the blinds at fairly close to parallel to the blinds, which being 4 p.m., the sun is pretty high in the sky, so that's not going to happen from the sun. This light will help me get pretty close to parallel to the blinds that I'm looking through. I talk about this Fresnel attachment that I'm currently taking off, and what that does is it helps the light that's super spread out coming from the light and focuses in a bit more so I can put it in a much more specific spot in the blinds. This light that comes through is also a bit harder in the light and more stark shadows, which helps gives the direct sunlight effect that you see in this still. Here I'm talking about how whenever I turned the light on outside, it didn't look like it did anything, but the second you stepped inside, it clearly made a huge difference in the light, as you can see on my face. Here you can clearly see the major difference that this light made. The light's now actually being shined directly on my face, and you can actually see the shadow from the blinds present. Here I'm talking about using negative fill, which is essentially just using a black material to reduce the amount of light that's bouncing back on the subject, and you put that on the side that you want to darken a little bit, which on this case would be the opposite side of the window. And in this case it did not affect too much because anything bouncing light on me was fairly far away, so it was kind of falling off to begin with. However, it did make a little bit of a difference, so I decided to keep it.